My dear friends, I welcome you to a new session with me, Girish. In today's session, we're going to actually talk about a grounding exercise. A grounding exercise which can be used to deal with insomnia, anxiety, cravings if you're trying to quit smoking, or just general relaxation. Okay? It's something we can do. It's like a procedure, which I'm going to explain to you. Something we can do every time we feel overwhelmed, or every time we feel like we're losing it, and we need to recenter ourselves and be calm again. So it's a grounding exercise, and it's called the 5-4-3-2-1 grounding exercise. All right. Grounding is something very important because it actually helps us to get back to the present moment. Okay? Every time you feel overwhelmed or you feel extremely anxious, what's happening is the fight or flight response in your brain has been triggered, and you're actually trying to run away from the current situation by actually overthinking about the future, or maybe you're dwelling in the past. But every time you're feeling terribly anxious, you're actually not living in the present moment. All right. So the grounding exercise, which we're going to explore, actually helps us to come back to the present moment. Okay, and it's actually a common sensory awareness grounding exercise, which is an amazing tool to deal with a moment instantly. Now, it's instant dealing with the moment in which you are feeling very overwhelmed. You have started to sweat. You're feeling panicky. Your heart has started to pump, and this technique can actually be used every time you're going through something really tense, like trying to do your driving exam, or you're going to sit an exam, or you're dealing with a very uncomfortable situation where you're dealing with a person who makes you very uncomfortable, who makes you feel really bad, and basically any moment you're living and you actually don't want to be there, right? So how does the procedure works? Okay, every time you feel panic or you feel you're losing it, the first thing, according to the procedure, which you should be doing is you should actually stop, sit down, and the first stage of the exercise is to actually describe 5 things you see in the room. If you're actually in the room, or if you're outside, you just try to describe 5 things you see. Because every time you're feeling overwhelmed or you're panicking, what's happening is your mind starts to wrap up with all the negative thoughts, the anxiety you're actually experiencing. So it gets sort of trapped into these emotions you're experiencing. So the only way to actually get out of that situation is to actually focus on something else. So what you do is you describe 5 things you can see. For example, I'm sitting right now and talking to you, and when I look in the room, I can see a flower pot. So I start to look at the texture of the flower, the leaves, the color. Okay, you can start to appreciate what you have in front of your eyes again. And since I'm in a closed room, I can see the TV set. I can see the toys around me, which my son plays with. I can see a chair. I can see a lamp. So I look at the color of the lamp. Okay, it's a Himalayan lamp, so the color of orange. I'm looking at the light. You start to describe everything you see, and you do that thing. You describe 5 things you can see, okay, around you at the moment. Next step is you name 4 things you can feel. Okay, for example, right now, I can feel my feet on the floor. And when I breathe in, I can feel the air getting through my nose. For example, I can feel the breeze touching the surface of my face on my forehead. Okay, I can feel a tingling sensation in my fingers as I'm talking to you. I can feel a certain warmth in my body, near my heart region as I'm talking to you right now. And I actually feel quite relaxed when I'm talking to you. So you describe 4 things that you can feel right now. Okay? And the sense of touch or feeling is very important in a grounding exercise. For example, I'm very scared of heights. So every time I have to take the plane, for example, I take my feet out of my shoes and I put it on the surface. Okay, it gives me a certain connection to the ground. Or even when I do some advanced meditation with my students, if I feel that I'm going to sort of melt or lose it, what I do is I put my hand on the ground. It helps me to stay grounded. So that's the sense of touch is something crucial. Okay, when you're panicking. And actually, if you have someone who's very close to you and you're feeling panicky, you can just hold the hand of the person. Or if you're alone, you can visualize holding the hand of the person you can actually connect to. All right, so that's something that we work out. Next step, the third step, is actually naming 3 things you can hear right now. So it could be about birds chirping. It could be about the sound of the refrigerator, which I can hear right now because I'm inside a room. It could be about the dogs barking outside. It could be about the car driving near your house. Any sound you hear, you name the sound. Next step is naming 2 things you can smell right now. So if someone is cooking near where you're sitting right now, you can actually smell, okay, the scent of that food. If you're outside, you could be smelling the flowers. You could be smelling fresh air if you're outside. Okay, or perfume of someone or your own perfume. Anything you can actually smell, you name it. And the last step, the last thing you would do is actually name 1 good thing about yourself. Okay, as a person, what's that 1 good, good quality you have? Okay. For example, as I do the exercise with you right now, the 1 good quality I have is I'm always trying to help people. So that comes to my head right now as I do the exercise. And you should be having 1 quality in you which is quite unique to you, even if it's not unique, but it's something you feel good about. Okay, it's something very nice about you. So you name that. And once you've actually done all the things I've described here, you would be feeling really calm. Okay? Because you've actually taken the mind from that worrying moment where you were getting overwhelmed with all the emotions, the thoughts, and you actually got back to your center. Okay? So we'll just do a recap of what we did. The first step was describing 5 things you see around you. The second thing was naming 4 things you can feel with your nose, with your hands, with your feet, with your belly, anything, any part of your body. Third thing was naming 3 things you can hear with your ears. Number 4 was naming 2 things you can smell right now. And number 5 was naming 1 good thing about yourself. All right? So these were the steps, and that's part of the procedure. Okay, and this technique can be used every time you feel very anxious, and every time there's a big event which is going to happen to you, and you can actually center yourself. Okay? So I hope it really helps you. You can learn the podcast of as many times as you wish till you actually understand the full procedure. You can listen to it, write it down, write the steps down, and do it. And if you kind of forget, just listen to it again. And if it is a podcast which you think is something you really need and you would like to download it, it's for free. You can just download it on your phone and you use it. If you don't want to do it on your own, you can always play it, listen to my voice, and do it. It's as if I'm next to you and helping you through it, because that's the whole point of making it, to actually help you. Because I've been dealing with anxiety a lot, and at that time I didn't quite know how to react. Do you actually run away from it? Do you stay there and suck it up and deal with it? There was no one to actually tell you what to do, okay? So that's why I'm doing it, and hoping that it will help at least one of you or anyone who's reading it, or you would share it with someone who will actually benefit from it, okay? So I hope that you really appreciated it, okay? Lots of love from me, Girish. See you very soon.